to Curtis Mayfield, the best of Curtis Mayfield. That brother had so much music and love in him. It's a shame that it was cut short when he was hit by that lighting fixture getting ready for a show. I think it was back in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. But I understand he's still doing some things, even though he got hurt. Eric Wilcox has joined the conversation, my old basketball buddy. How you doing, Eric? Thank you for coming out, my brother, and supporting the Mic is Live. All right, it is 2 o'clock, and I know more people are going to come on later, but anybody that's been following my podcast, they know I start on time. I like to be on time with mine. So welcome to this week's edition of The Mic is Live. And I am so glad to be with you again. Last week we took a little time off to travel with the family and do some things with the family. We are going to be on the road again next week, Saturday, hopefully, if everything goes right. But we're still going to do the podcast no matter where we are. We're thinking about heading up to the Poconos with the family. My Aunt Ruby is out. How you doing, Aunt Ruby? Great to see you. So we're going to be heading up to the Poconos next week, but I'm still going to do the broadcast from wherever I am. I'm going to still do the podcast. So let everybody know, keep coming out, keep supporting. Just for a brief history for some of you who haven't been with me in the past, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a platform, and we're going to go deeper into the reasoning behind that a little later in today's discussion. Let me turn down Curtis a little bit. Sometimes, you tell a brother the mic is live, and they just try to come and take it over all completely. But you're listening to Curtis Mayfield in the background. That's right, Wingate High School. That's right, Curtis Mayfield, as I was saying earlier. Thank you, Eric, for that bit of information. And that's why I need y'all in the feed. I don't know everything, but I do a little bit of research, and sometimes I'm coming off the cuff, and I might say something or do something. And if you're in the feed and you got a fact like Eric just laid out there, I appreciate you, dropping some facts and some knowledge on the people. If I don't get to it, they still can see it in the conversation. But as we were saying, Curtis Mayfield was a very brilliant musician. He was hurt, as Eric Wilcox gave us the information, at a high school performance he was getting ready for at Wingate High School. I think it was a lighting fixture fell on him and paralyzed him. And I used to I was the theater manager for York College for about 10 years, and I know how heavy those things could be. Those lighting fixtures, they can kill you, falling from a certain height. And unfortunately, Curtis was paralyzed, but I still think he's still performing a little bit, doing some recordings and things. I'm not sure. But, we want to send a shout out to our brother Curtis Mayfield. He's setting the mood in the background. I don't know if you can see him, but that's him in the background back there when he was playing guitar. Before I begin, I want to send a shout out to my cousin Zach. Our aunt Osi, she passed this week, Monday. She was taking, on her final transition. And, we want you to, if you can, send out those prayers. My mom, she was kind of broken up by it. And, it's real rough, but we want to send a shout out to our cousin Zach. He's a surviving member of that clan, but he's never alone because we're all family, and we appreciate our Aunt Elsie. She was a very beautiful woman, very inside and out, physically and spiritually, very beautiful person, and we want to remember her in our prayers. She was Jehovah's Witness, so they have a very strict code in terms of disposing of the body and things of that nature. So there won't be a memorial service or anything of that nature. She left strict instructions as to how her transition should be handled. And my older sister Sandra is taking care of those arrangements. But we still want to remember her and for the person that she was. She was a very beautiful human being, very even-tempered. You know, I come from a very high-spirited family on both sides, my mother and my father's side. And I can say out of all of my aunts and uncles, you know, Aunt Osie was one of the most even-tempered. I've seen her angry before, or, you know, something touch her nerve. But I can say I never really seen her, like, get, you know, like my mother could get, or my other aunts, you know. I never seen her, like, lose her cool, you know, even when she was perturbed at us as kids. You know, she let us know in a very strong and silent way that we're about to get a knot upside our foot. But, you know, she was a very, very cool person, man. You know, and, you know, type of person you could talk to, and she'd give you some good sound advice. So we want to remember Aunt Osie and, you know, prayers. If you can, you know, if you got the number, if you on personal note with my family like that, you know, stop by and see Mrs. Adams, because y'all know what it could mean to lose a sibling, you know, and just, you know, send us some love, you know, especially out there in the Jamaica community. You know, my mother's been one person that stood up and was there for a lot of people out there. So now she needs, and we just ask that you remember her in her prayers that she lost her sister Osie. So we want to dedicate today's show to our aunt and the spirit of unity, because she was a unifying factor. You know, every family's got those individuals that bring different things to the table. You got your high-spirited ones, the life of the party, the downers and the depressors, and, you know, and you have those that are a stabilizing factor that always keep things on course and where they should be. And Osie was one of those people. So it's only fitting that we dedicate today's show to her, to my Aunt Osie. And today's show, today's podcast is going to be dealing with staying on code. Staying on code. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. But I just want to give, again, I got a little sidetracked. I want to give a little background in terms of what we're doing here. Hey, Babs, how you doing? Faithful watcher. Babs has come out all my podcasts. I appreciate you, Babs. You know, long-time family friend. Even beyond that, I would have to say Babs is that sister from another mister. You know, she's been there from the beginning, since Gates Avenue. You know, we all grew up together. Well, but for those of you who don't know, real quickly, what I'm doing with this podcast, I'm trying to expand the platform and deal with things that that goes, you know, deep into Nubian culture. You know, I'll be touching on other aspects and other cultures as well, but mainly focusing in on the Nubian culture. And again, I'll go more into detail why as we go through the discussion, because it's pertinent to the discussion. But what we're trying to do is, my brother Rashad, how you doing, my brother? What we're trying to do is expand this platform. Right now, we're just building it up, so we're using it Facebook Live to get the word out. Hopefully, you guys will get the word out. And as we build the numbers, because that's how things are done these days, and that's why I caution people when people are doing podcasts or they're on YouTube, this, that, or the other. I'm fine, my brother, and they're asking you for money donations. I say be cautious about that. You know, I don't ask for money because things have changed in this new medium where, you know, money is good, and we could always use money to get things printed and do you know, little odds and ends. But as far as this new medium is concerned, where we need the support and what helps it grow are the numbers of subscribers to our channels or the number of likes. That's how we are able to go to the sponsors and ask sponsors for the money that we need to continue. All right, so I don't really ask people to send me money or any donations or anything like that. If you're going to do anything on a monetary basis, I just ask that you buy the album. You know, go buy my albums. They're on sale. You get something for your money. I don't, but as far as just giving me donations, I don't need that. What I need you to do is to get as many as your friends, as many as you can, to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me a bunch of likes so that I can go to the corporations and the companies and say, hey, look, I got 10,000, I got 20,000 people following me. Give me some sponsorship so I can mention your product. And I promise you, the people that support me, I will never go to a company or ask you or present a product to you that I don't believe in myself or that I feel that's not beneficial to our culture as a whole. And that's my guarantee and my promise to you, that when I do go for sponsorship, I'm not going to the same sponsors that support the NFL. I don't want nothing to do with them. Again, we're going to be talking about that in a minute too. But I'll be going to black businesses, black owners, hopefully startups or young people, young entrepreneurs, and looking for them to sponsor the channel. So what we want to do, we want to grow from this, build up our YouTube channel, and then from YouTube, we want to start our own radio station, and hopefully we can develop it into a whole television and radio production. This is all under the auspices of my company, which is called Lee & Sons Productions. I named it after my father and my brothers, and that's why I produce most of my stuff under my videos and my music and everything is under that. And so, that's basically what we need. We need you to get the word out. Let people know we're out here every Saturday at 2 o'clock. Have them, if they can't get out here, have them go to the YouTube channel. It's all rebroadcasted. I put out a show a week, so this one will be up by Monday afternoon. I'm limited in terms of my processing speed, so it takes time for my videos to process to go from one instrument to the next. So it takes me that long. It takes me about all day to get the show downloaded to YouTube. So it's up by Monday afternoon. And let people know if they missed the live feed to go there. Again, please go there, hit the like, hit the subscribe, because that's where I need your help. I need you to, number one, spread the word and let people know that we're out here. We're doing this 2 o'clock every Saturday. And then, go to the YouTube channel and hit the like, hit the subscribe. And again, if you want to donate money, don't just donate money. Go to iTunes, Amazon, and Spotify. Just about any online store. You can look up my album. It's called Tears. Buy the album, and then those proceeds can help us. But we don't want you donating any money. We need your likes, and we need your subscribes. And like I said, then we'll go to the black-owned businesses and corporations and ask them to sponsor the show and the radio station. All right, so let's get on with the discussion, because I missed my gym time today. I took a week off last week because they say you're supposed to always take time off. You shouldn't just work out regularly like that. So I took last week off, and I'm going to hit the gym today. So I'm going to try to wrap it up by 3 o'clock and be up out of here. But today I wanted to talk to you about staying on code. All right? Now, what do I mean by that? Like last month when I began this, I just sort of mentioned that off the cuff about how cultures stay on code. And a young lady got in touch with me after that and asked me, to go more into depth in that. And she asked, is there a code of conduct that people of African descent should follow? And while I didn't know of anything written, I just had a basic discussion with her in terms of what staying on code meant and where we are as a people in terms of the code of conduct that we should be ascribing to and trying to live up to. And basically, staying on code is basically a unified code of conduct that runs throughout the culture. Many cultures have them. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not arguing the bad or good of it. And many times I'll throw something out, and it's not necessarily me arguing the pro or con of it. It's just throwing out a piece of information. And basically, that's what I'm doing with this. It's like, when you look at the more successful and strong cultures around the country, around the world, they have a code of conduct that they follow. And that code of conduct is strictly adhered to, no matter where they are, even if they're in someone else's country, even if they're thriving and living in someone else's community. If they're thriving, it's usually because they've developed a certain code of conduct that they adhere to, and they don't let anything shake that code. Now, that code can run the gambit of just about anything that governs their natural progression and way of life. Again, if the music is too loud, if Curtis is too loud in the background, we'll ask my brother to turn it down a little bit. But looking at those aspects, what are those aspects within their code of conduct that enable them to thrive under adverse situations as well as positive situations and in other settings that are not totally advantageous to their cultural growth? Now, if you look at it, they have a certain code of conduct when dealing with economics, when they deal with family, their relationship between the men and the women, the relationship with the children, the relationship with the elders in their culture. Okay, there's a certain code of conduct when it comes to their nutrition and their medical needs. And those are some of the basic ones that we need to look at and we want to deal with. Now, again, it's important to understand and remember that most of the strongest cultures within the communities around the world adhere to these cultural norms and have a code of conduct that governs those norms, even under the most adverse situations. And that's how they're able to thrive. Now, when we look at the treatment of particularly Nubians in this country, we realize that our code of conduct has been taken away from us through many different means. Now, last discussion we talked about social engineering and how these norms were socially engineered out of us, and that's how they are able to keep us in a certain condition and maintain control over certain things. And one of the way they do that is by controlling the natural resources that an individual might need to live on. So therefore, those cultural norms, that code of conduct that you normally would adhere to, is being governed by someone else. And that someone else isn't going to do it in a way that's more profitable to the culture, but it's done in a way to make the culture be diverted from its true means or its true purpose. So when we look at the code of conduct as it pertains to African Americans, I hate that term, but just for a point of reference, we'll use it. But as you look at the code of conduct as it pertains to our culture, it has been distorted. It had, and in some cases, totally destroyed. Okay, there's no code of conduct when dealing with the family. There's no code of conduct when dealing with economics. There's no code of conduct when dealing with social or political norms and values. And there's no code of conduct when it deals with our health and nutrition. And these are vital areas of development of any culture. When you speak about growth, strength, and fortitude, if any one of those areas are negated or neglected, then it can mean catastrophe for the culture that it's intended to target. Now, in my discussion with this young lady, we came up with what we felt was a code of conduct that could be followed by the Moorish or the Nubian community. Okay, I like those terms better than African American because basically Africa was not what we call the motherland. We call the motherland Kush, There were some other names that we called her. Africa was given to her by a Roman soldier, Africanus. He was credited with conquering the region. Therefore, Caesar gave the region, it was named after him, which was normally done back in those days when you discovered something or you was a general and you conquered something, then it was normally named after you. So I don't really like that name Africa, and I damn sure don't like African American, because that's a whole nother discussion that we can get into. But so for the sake of the discussion, when I refer to our culture, I'll be talking about the Moors or Nubians as to who we are. Nubian is just another word for black anyway. But Moors is our nationality. We are Moors. That's our national identification. We are the original Hebrews. All right, those people in Israel talking about they're the Jews. Yeah, they're the Jews, but they're not the Hebrews. They're not the descendants of Isaac and Jacob and Moses. We are. Okay, they only assimilated to the religion, took the language, and usurped the culture. But they are not the Hebrews of the Bible. We are the Hebrews. We are the Moors. We are the Nubians, and this is the cultural code of conduct that I'm discussing today as it pertains to our culture, the original people of this planet. My cousin Catherine has joined us. How you doing, Catherine? Great to see you. So staying on code, again, we as I talked to the young lady, we identified certain key areas where we've sort of gotten off track as a culture. And so we wanted to discuss how to bring these things back on track. Now, just to give you some understanding in terms of where this train of thought came from, as you know, and many researchers will tell you that our condition or our cultural conditioning, social conditioning, as we discussed last week, was a direct. It was directly as a result of what we call the black codes. Now, the black codes were after the Civil War and the South lost the war. They were very concerned about losing their economic and political strength. So there were certain measures that they took in order to maintain a certain order among the newly freed black people that were still in the South. Okay, now there were already things in place, as you know, in the Constitution. We weren't even considered whole individuals. We were only considered three quarters or 3/5 of a human being for political reasons, so that when the census is taken and the electoral balance was put into place, the South wouldn't have an overwhelming majority because they had all of these slaves in that area. But the North argument was they're not even given the rights of a human being, but you want them to have the vote of one whole person. No. So, we were slashed down to 3/5 of a human being so that the numbers could add up. And again, it's so funny because, again, we're talking about code, all right, staying on code, all right, and you have to look at the historical aspect of what's going on today and how it links to where we are in the present, okay? And where we are in the present is, as we were nothing but a number back then, we're nothing but numbers to them now. This is why a lot of people that are in the know, and they're speaking in terms of politics, they let us know that we shouldn't be just jumping onto the bandwagon with the Democrats, that we have to really look at our political base and our political strength and join our political strength to the political parties that are going to do the best for us. And that's another way that we have to stay on code. All right, so again, this the piece that I came up with was had in mind the the history of the codes that govern our culture and socially engineered it to be what it is today. And as you search that history, you have to go back to what they call the black codes that came out of primarily Mississippi and South Carolina were the first ones to adopt these codes back in I think it was 1855 and 1856 is when they were first really came about. And in these codes, it was a code of conduct for newly freed blacks that they had to follow. They were basically laws that they had to follow in order to stay free. And they governed everything from the way they did business, the way they got married, where they were able to go and shop. Okay? And that's what we were talking about earlier, how the code of conduct, when you control the code of conduct of a particular people, you control their growth and their development. So out of the black codes of the South is what the Jim Crow laws came out of, which were recently abolished, and we basically overturned those. That's what Martin Luther King's movement was about, and that was less than 50 years, ladies and gentlemen. All right, when you think about it. All right, and it took some time even for his movement, the civil rights movement, to catch on. And civil rights movement wasn't just for black people, which is a mistake that a lot of people make. Martin couldn't come out there talking about laws just for black people, even though him and Malcolm and the people of that era discussed it as it pertained to black people. But Martin knew in order for it to be accepted, he had to broaden that base and make it a civil rights thing rather than a black and white thing. So therefore, the civil rights movement wasn't just for black people. It was for everybody. And unfortunately, because of that, many groups have been able to come in and hijack that movement so that now when you go and you talk politics and you go to these leaders and say, what are you going to do in terms of black people, they lump you in and call you a minority, which you are not. Or they say, well, we're looking at civil rights as a whole. And that allows the feminist movement, the gay rights movement, and every other movement to piggyback in when I'm not dumping on them and saying that they don't deserve their voice or their seat at that particular table. What I'm saying is that with all of those added agendas to our agenda often gets overlooked. All right? So out of the black codes, you had the Jim Crow laws, and from the Jim Crow laws, it morphed into this whole civil rights movement. But what I wanted to do was come up with the new black codes. And these are codes specifically dealing with our issues, our agenda, and how we can overturn or reverse those effects of Jim Crow, black codes, and the Willy Lynch Syndrome. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly go through them and read through them. And if you want a copy, you can always inbox me. I can always email you a copy. I hope some of you will take them and hand them out to different people. Just it's a good point of discussion for anybody. You know, you have young people in your family. You know, just let them know that this is something that we're trying to implement culturally. You know, the new black codes. And this is basically what they are. So number one, I will not cause or participate in the planning that causes the death of another Nubian person unless said individuals are threatening my life or the life of my family. So basically what it's saying is, thou shalt not kill your brother. All right? With all of the things that are out here that's trying to kill us, we should not be killing each other. We should be trying to find a way to settle our differences and deal with each other cordially, respectfully, and in a balanced and fair manner. Number two, as a Nubian male, I will defend unconditionally with my life, if necessary, my women, children, and elders of my culture. I will prepare for any eventuality by obtaining for myself and my family a passport, driver's license, and by learning and being trained in hand-to-hand combat, doomsday preparation, outdoor survival, camping techniques, hunting, fishing, swimming, and etc., as well as weapons training, and actively, get that actively, not just saying it, but actually getting off your butt, my brother, and doing something about it. Going out there and becoming licensed and trained in firearm ownership, right? These are things that we must do. We got to get out there, get your passports, get your driver's license, and make sure your sons and your daughters have them. Especially if you have daughters, my brothers. You should not be having your wife and your daughter walk around these city streets. And if they're taking a bus or train or whatever, great. But they should have their driver's license. So push comes to shove, they can get behind a wheel of a car and get the hell out of Dodge. All right. But more importantly, it is our purpose to defend our homes and our communities, my brother. You know, I get so sick of watching these videos on Facebook and YouTube and dudes standing back watching women get beat down by the police or some store owner, and all they doing is laughing, this going world star and all this stuff. Come on, brothers. You know, you are the protector of the family. You're the protector of your woman and your children. You know, drop that phone or perch it somewhere where it can catch all the action. But you get your ass in there and defend your woman. You defend your children. You defend your community. You know, new black codes, ladies and gentlemen. As a Nubian woman, new black code number 3. As a Nubian woman, I will defend and protect my man, my children, and elders of my culture, speaking love and life to their dreams and aspirations. Okay? And I said this before, I'll say it again. Sisters, you are the first educators of the child. You are the first educators of the children. You cannot be denigrating them and destroying them and speaking down to them. You got to speak life to them. You got to speak love to them. And when your man comes through that door and from fighting the world, he shouldn't have to fight you too. You know, speak love to him. Speak life to his aspirations and the things that he's trying to do. You know, get behind his dreams, no matter how far-fetched they might be. Get behind him and encourage him. You know, defend him. When you hear them talking about how messed up the black man is and how he should be doing this, that, or the other, you defend that black man. You know, stand up for him. Defend your black king. And let him know that, you know, let him feel that love that you have for him. All right? Number 4, new black codes we're discussing, ladies and gentlemen. I see my longtime friend James Turner has joined the conversation. How you doing, Brother James? All right, new black codes. Number 4, I will invest, very important, I will invest in my health, eating healthy, resting my mind and body, exercising, working out my mind and body regularly. I'm not about body shaming nobody and this, that, and the other. Everybody can't be a size 2. Let's face it. Some of us was born with some good genetics, but we can eat anything and do anything and still look like a supermodel. And some of us was born, if we even look at a piece of cake, our butt grow 2 sizes too big. All right, that's the reality. But everybody can be healthy. Everybody can think healthy. Everybody can do healthy things, eat healthy. And you have to invest in that. You have to spend your money, you know, and I'll be the first one to tell you, as a vegan, it's very expensive. You know, what you can buy in vegetarian meals, you can buy for a whole year of junk food, you know, but you gotta wonder, you know, they don't give anything away of value in this country. So if the vegetarian meals are more expensive, you gotta know that they're much better for you. If you can buy junk at the drop of a hat, you know, that lets you know that that's a bunch of cheap junk that you're putting into your body. All that sugar and salt. You know, you got to watch that stuff. Particularly our people. You know. We got to watch what we're putting into our bodies. You know. New black code. Investing in your health. Take that investment into your health, ladies and gentlemen. New black code number 6. I will take steps toward constructive, responsible economics. Learning how and why money works. I will invest in property, real estate, precious metals, stocks, bonds, etc. I will build capital and equity. Work toward principles of collective economics. supporting Nubian businesses, and dispelling any and all entities from our communities who have demonstrated a lack of respect for Nubian culture. All right, we've got to take on that challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Brothers, we've got to get our economic game on fleek, you know. I always tell sisters, speak love and life to your man and his dreams. But at the same time, brother, you got to come with more than a dream, okay? You got to put in that time and build that economy. Get together. If think about it. If 10 of us get together, just 10, think about 10 of your friends that you can depend on. And you tell them, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a business account. And each week we're going to put no more than 20, but no less than $10 a person in that account. Can you imagine what y'all would have at the end of the year? End of 2 years? End of 3 years? You'll be in the point where you can start investing that money into things. You know what I'm saying? Cooperative, responsible economics. This is the game that we got to be on. This is the code of conduct that other cultures have. We look back and we complain about how the Jews control everything and how this culture control, but this is what they do. They put their pennies together, put that stuff in the bank. They don't touch it. They let it grow. They build equity. And then they start investing in their community. They start buying dollar houses and shanty shacks, fixing them up, renting them out to Section 8, getting that guaranteed government money. And then they put that money in the bank, let that grow. Then they get another piece of property and build something else. And before you know it, they're building schools, supermarkets, stores, laundromats. And they own everything in their community and they govern their own community. This is what we got to do, brothers and sisters. The new black codes, building economic viability. Number 7, I will no longer, listen to this please, ladies and gentlemen. I will no longer march, sing, and pray for change. We've been doing that dumb shit for 50 years now. 50 years we've been on the line singing, marching, and praying, and they still killing our babies in the street. What do we have to do, Brother Adams? I'm going to tell you what you have to do. You will actively engage in social political organization geared toward building social, political, and economic strength because they don't understand anything else. They'll let you march, they'll let you sing, and they'll let you pray, and they'll forget about you the next day and go out and kill the next man. But if you come at them with political, economic, and social strength, they're afraid of you because they know you're not going to go away. They know that you affect their pockets. They know that you affect their jobs. They know that you affect where they live. All right, so you can sing and pray and march till you're blue in the face. You have to build your political and social organization so that when things do happen, you're a force to be reckoned with. New Black Code number 8. I will no longer allow the media or entertainment industry to control the narrative or image of the Nubian culture. I will actively work toward building and controlling and supporting those mediums and artists who support and perpetuate the images of Nubian culture empowerment. I will actively call out and boycott shows like Empire, Real Housewives or wherever, and etc. I will also call out and boycott coonish individuals like Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, and all the rest. And those commentators on Fox News, all right? We have to control our media. And this is what I was explaining in the beginning of my podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I'm doing this. I want my own medium. I get tired of sitting down watching cable TV, and every channel you see, there's some silly little white girl telling you, just defining what beauty is for our culture, all right? I'm tired of listening to the radio and hearing everything negative about our culture. I'm tired of going to the movies and seeing us on screens as nothing but either drug dealers, hookers, or some slave talking about, oh, the Lord's going to set me free. Come on, man. Enough is enough. We got to control this. And this is why I'm asking you guys to help me with this platform so that I can develop a platform of my own so I don't have to be worried about what I say or what I do or somebody pulling sponsorship because they don't like it. And again, I'm not asking for your money. I'm asking for your likes. I'm asking for your subscription on a YouTube channel so that we can build this thing and develop our own radio station. And from there, we're going to develop our own TV and our own movies. We're going to be doing a lot of things in the future. And the way we're going to do this is with the help of the people so that it can honestly be for the people, by the people, and of the people. New Black Code number 9. I will study the quantitative and qualitative intent of the Willy Lynch Syndrome and work actively to reverse the effects of the effects on the Nubian culture. That means you got to do some research, guys. You got to go to the library. You got to go to your bookstores. You got to get a copy of the Willy Lynch letter, which I'm sure you can get. You probably can get it online. Sit down with your family. Great family discussion. Show how we can reverse some of these trends, and some of these new black codes deal with those trends that Willy Lynch tried to put in place. And just for a brief history, they don't know if Willy Lynch was an actual person or was something that was made up, but it's basically what it was an individual who was a slave owner, and he went to, I'm just checking my time because I'm trying to stay on 3 o'clock here, but he went to the West Indies to a sugar plantation, and he was talking to the owners and telling them how things that they can do or techniques that they can put into place to keep black people as slaves or Nubian people as slaves in perpetuity, meaning their children's children will be enslaved. And as we look at the things that are affecting our community, when we look at the way that our children are being raised and the things that they're gravitating toward, when we look at the condition of our men and our women, you have to wonder, was Willy Lynch right? You know, the things that he put into play seems to be working. So what we're saying, New Black Code number 9, is that we're going to study this letter. We're going to study these techniques, and we're going to actively work to reverse the effects that they've had these last 150 years on our culture. And it has to be a collective effort. It can't be just one or two people. And that's my hang-up with this whole conscious community thing. You know, consciousness is the basis upon which all universal reality is built. How can we relegate it to a community of just a few individuals? That doesn't even make sense. Everything that's living and breathing and has a awareness, whether it be a clouded sense of self, a clouded sense of righteousness, whether or not it is still conscious. So there's no such thing to me as a conscious community. You might have a community of like-minded individuals and individuals that are about a movement toward a betterment of their culture. But consciousness cannot be relegated to just a small community. So, my point being that, we can't be looking at just 2 or 3 people to right the wrongs of the Willy Lynch syndrome. Right? It has to be a conscious effort across the culture. And we all know that cultural development, cultural ingenuity, that begins at home. That's why I say get a copy of the Willy Lynch letter. You can go online and get it. Probably, if not, I know you can get it at some bookstores. There's a bookstore in Harlem on 125th Street where I know you can get a copy of it, and you can get a book that analyzes it and break it down. And these are the things that you need to be discussing with your children. Not the latest episode of Empire, not the latest freaking episode of The Real Housewives of Basketball or whatever. You need to be discussing things like this. You need to be discussing the art of war. You need to be discussing the Willy Lynch syndrome and how it can be reversed. These are the discussions that you should be having on family night. Along with that, if you're into the Bible, the Quran, or whatever, great. You do that too, but make that part of the discussion. Let your kids know what they're up against and who it is that's really trying to destroy their culture. Okay, the new black codes, number 10. I will actively work to connect with Nubian cultures across the globe, seeking to invest in infrastructure, land, resources, and dual citizenship whenever and wherever possible. I will actively work to promote and advance the common interests and goals as a world culture. Okay, guys, we got to start thinking outside the box. Okay, we're too caught up in our box that we're not reaching out to our other brothers and sisters across the globe. All right? And I know some of them come here with these attitudes. You know, I'm not black, I'm African. I'm not an American black, I'm from Haiti. Yo, let me tell you something. When you going down to Mississippi and talk that stuff, they're gonna drag you from the same truck that they drag a brother from Harlem from. All right, so let's get over that. You know, the only difference between a guy from Jamaica or a family from Haiti or Puerto Rico, any one of those islands, is that the boat dropped you off there first and before you got shipped here to America. All right, we are all one people. You know, if you do your research and you search back the Olmec and the Maya, we started all those civilizations. So don't get caught up because you speak Spanish and start thinking you're not a Nubian man or you're not a descendant of the Moor. Yes, you are. You know, you're the American Indian. You try to shun us and keep us out now that they gave you your casinos or whatever. But rest assured, you are the lost tribe of the Hebrew nation. Okay, if you search back far enough, you'll find Chinese just as black as night. All right, so let's get off of that and start reaching out to these cultures around the world. You know, let's get out of this little prism thinking that American racism and American culture is all there is for the quote-unquote African American. No, we are a global people. We're a world people. And we need to start acting like it. We need to stretch out our hand across the globe. And like I said, invest in land, invest in resources. You know, we're the ones that should be adopting those children, not Angelina Jolie and them other crazy, freakish people dressing these young black boys up in dresses, walking them around in skirts, confusing them more than what they are. We're the ones that's supposed to be going over there digging wells and finding water, planting resources, showing them how to irrigate and aggregate crops and things of that nature. We're the ones that's supposed to be getting the doctors and lawyer degrees, the engineering degrees, and going and redeveloping our lands that they destroy. And we can do this, ladies and gentlemen. We can do this if we stick to the code. You know, you look at all of these videos and things that are going on. You know, I saw one the other day. This white lady was freaking out in a Walmart, and the guy had to go and restrain her, and everybody pulling up, is she all right? Oh, don't hurt her. You know, they stay on code. They're not like us. We'll sit back and watch one of our women get beat down and start screaming World Star and can't wait to put it on YouTube or something, instead of stepping in and letting them know, look, she might have did something wrong, but watch the way you treat our sister. You know, watch the way you treat that young man. Even if he did do something wrong, you're not going to stand there and beat him in front of me. You know, like I said, brothers, we're the protectors of our culture. We got to be able to stand up, step in, even at the risk of our own life at times. And that's for real. That's some real talk that we need to get on board with. But that's just it. As I discussed with the sister, we just came up with those 10. And like I said, if you want a copy, you can email me. I'm glad to send you a copy over, or you can cut and paste it from my wall because it's on my page. And you know, just pass them around and discuss them and see what you can make better with them. And I have no problem with you taking them and rewriting them, and you know, because like I said, I don't know everything. You know, somebody might have a suggestion and they might want to add to it, take away from it, do whatever you got to do. But let's get on code with each other, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get on code with our economics. Let's get on code with our nutrition. Let's get on code with our health, you know, mentally and physically. Let's, you know, start working out and getting our bodies in shape, eating the right foods. Okay, let's get together with like-minded people and start saving some money. Let's build that equity. You know, there are people right here in the feed. You see each other's names. If you're here, that means that you're consciously thinking about some of the things that I'm saying. So that means that you guys should be reaching out to each other in the feed and connecting to each other. Because I know everybody that's on here, Jessica, Michelle, all you guys, Michael, all you guys that are on here. I know you have conscious minds and you think about these things. So reach out to each other, get in touch with each other, and start building with each other. Let's start building with each other. Let's like I said, it takes nothing to open a corporate account, and you can do anything with that corporate account. You can like I said, set the goal. Listen, we're not gonna put no more than 20, no less than 10 per week. Now, I know some of y'all brothers out there spend more than that on weed and booze. Some of y'all sisters spend more than that getting your nails did. Just don't get your nails did that week, and put the weed down for a day. It costs $10 for a bag of weed. Some of y'all smoke weed every day in the week. You can go a day without weed. Put that $10 in a corporate account that we set up with each other. All right, let that money build. All right, then when it gets to $10,000, $20,000, go out there and look for a promising young person and give them a scholarship if they're trying to become an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. And let them know, listen, when you get that doctorate degree, when you get that degree, become a lawyer, we want you to think about going over to Haiti and going into Africa and setting up, some shop there and seeing what you can do for the people over there. Talk to your young people. Get those driver's license. Get those passports together. All right, brothers. Get your go out there. Like I said, remember, and when I read the New Black Codes, it wasn't none of them started off about I'm thinking about or I will consider. No, it said I will actively. Okay, that means that we're going to get off our asses and we're going to make sure certain things are done. I'm going to get off my butt. I'm going to go down to the Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to go down to the licensing division. And I'm going to find out what do I need to become a licensed gun owner. I'm going to go to the post office. I'm going to pick up my application for a passport, and I'm going to get one for all the people in my family. When my daughter and son turn 14, 15 years old, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to actively take them to the motor vehicles and make sure they have their driver's license. These are very simple things that we can do that we're not doing. All right? Very simple things. Even if you do it by yourself, I'm going to actively go and get a totally separate bank account from what I need to run my house. And whatever little pennies I can put in there outside of paying my main bills, I'm going to put in there each week until I have enough money that I can do something with. And when I say do something, not go on vacation or none of that stuff. I'm going to invest that money into something that's going to bring equity so that I can be an economic presence in the community that I live. The New Black Codes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to post them again, and I sincerely hope that you copy them, that you paste them to your page, that you take them and you discuss them with your children. And if you're in any type of political organization, which again the New Black Codes say that you should be, that you take them to your political organizations, you hand them out, you let people know that this is the code of conduct that we're trying to reach collectively within our community so that we can reverse the quantitative and qualitative effects of the Willy Lynch Syndrome. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. I think that is my time. I don't think people want to hear me more than an hour anyway. Yeah, we're up on 2:53. But before I go, I just wanted to remind you guys that we are still, again, this is keeping in line with the theme of the day, the New Black Codes, our political strength, activist strength. If you're out in the Queens area, Jamaica, Queens area, my hometown, remember we are boycotting Three Brothers Pizzas, and they are on, let me get the paper here, they are on 109-160 Guy Brewer Boulevard, okay? I will do that, Babs. I'll tell them you said hello. We're boycotting that pizza shop, so please, if you're out in the Queens area, do not shop at that pizza shop. Stay on code, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stay on code. Also, we are, and this thing is catching on, it seems like, we're boycotting the NFL. A brother of mine, started a website on Facebook. So look it up, Boycott the NFL. Please add your name to it. I didn't want to do it before I told people, but I will be sending out a group join request. So if you see something like that, it is coming from me. We're asking people to join the page. A lot of people are picking up on it. I just saw in the news the other day that there's some leaders in the community who are thinking about having a very serious boycott of the NFL, and this is all around Colin Kaepernick, the way the brother stood up against police brutality and the racism that the NFL showed when they backed down and let the brother go, and they're not signing him even though he is better than some of the trash that they have on there now. You have your coons, I'm gonna call it what it is, out there caping for the white man, talking about, oh, he should cut his hair. People like Ray Lewis and all them people, man. They need to sit back and shut up and take several seats, because as I remember, Ray, didn't you go to jail or something, or had to pay a heavy fine for obstruction of justice? And you coming out telling a man how what to do? Colin didn't hurt nobody. He didn't kill nobody. He didn't fight no dogs or nothing like that. That brother stood up for the culture, and now they're ostracizing him. So we're asking people to stay on code. I know it's hard to do. I'm a sports lover myself, but the NFL ain't doing nothing for us. They got millions of dollars coming in. They got brothers out there. Most of the stars that people come to see are black men. And they haven't said not one word about police brutality. And when somebody in the organization says something, they ostracize them. So we're asking you to come on board with this. Boycott the NFL. Don't watch their games. Don't post nothing about the NFL on your Facebook or YouTube. Just don't be down with the NFL at all until they come to terms with their responsibility, their social and political responsibility to the people that support them. We want to remember the Game of Thrones directors. I forgot their name, but they're coming out with some old bull crap new show that they want to do. And we're asking you to boycott them as well. Don't watch the Game of Thrones. Again, I know a lot of this hurts. Some of it is entertaining for some people. I don't watch that mess myself. But, they're coming out with some new show where they want to show how things would be if the South, the Confederacy, had won the war. In other words, they want to do what Donald Trump wants to do, make America white again. So we're asking you for your own interest, ladies and gentlemen. Stay away from that stuff. Hurt them in the ratings. Hurt them in the ratings. We're boycotting those individuals as well. We want to send a shout out to our brother Tariq Nasheed. If you haven't got the Hidden Colors series, we ask that you look into getting them. Hidden Colors is a great educational tool. If you're a school teacher and you're discussing the contributions to the Nubian people and the culture around the world, the Moors around the world, I suggest that you look into getting that for your classroom. If not, I suggest you getting it for your home. And as I said, these are great tools of discussions that you can and should be having with your children. So look into getting that and having it available. Tariq is also doing a new movie about the Haitian Revolution. So if you did get the Hidden Colors series and you like that series, I suggest you look into getting the his new documentary on the Haitian Revolution. There's another brother that did a documentary called Out of Darkness. A great series as well. Sabir Bey. If you are interested, look up his name. He's been in the game a while. Very knowledgeable brother. he did a video called a documentary called Out of Darkness. I suggest another good education tool, another good discussion tool. So support those brothers, support their works. August 10th, Mike Fife is going to be playing in St. Albans, I believe, August 10th. But it's on the web. Look it up. I wanted to go out there, but I'm not going to be able to because I'm going to be out of town next weekend. In fact, I'm leaving on the 10th. So, but if you're out there, please support the brother. Look for his album also. These are individuals who got their own companies, their own production companies. Mike has been in the Jamaica community for a long time, doing a lot of good work. So support that brother. Go out there to the performance August 10th. And if you can, look for his album. It's on sale on YouTube. I saw my sister Kathy out there, Kathy Turner. I'm gonna keep getting on your case, Kathy, because you promised me to get me that information. But lady, she is coming out with a new product. I think she said it's a face cream or something like that. See, I don't know. I can't even promote it right because Kathy ain't giving me the information. But support our sister. I'll let you know when she gets me the information. When the product drops, I'll let you know. Black owned. It'll be a black owned business. We need you to practice that cooperative economics and get behind the sister. Of course, we always tell you about Dr. Boyce Watkins. If you want to start a business, if you're looking to start a business, look into your licensing and things of that nature, look up Dr. Boyce Watkins, Your Black World. He's very knowledgeable. He has a lot of information for those of us who are interested in building up our economic game. Brother Charles Carey, he's also very inspirational. He comes from a more spiritual aspect. I don't really discuss religion on my podcast, but I trust Charles. I'm familiar with his work. Look him up on Facebook and YouTube. He has a lot of information to share. And finally, if you need your taxes done, if you are in need of a good accountant, I ask that you go on Facebook, look up my old-time York College friend, Patrick Sterling. He is a very good accountant. He does my taxes, which I got to get to him, by the way. And he's very, very knowledgeable. He can save you some money, show you how to, use the tax codes and nothing illegal, but legally get the return that you deserve. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it for me today. I appreciate you guys that came out and signed on. Once again, I ask that you spread the word. This will be up by Monday, Tuesday at the latest on YouTube. If anybody missed it and they want to catch it, please, again, I need you guys to build up those numbers. I don't necessarily need your money. Like I said, if you want to donate some money, all fine and good, but I'd rather you go to YouTube and buy the album, buy my album Tears, and the gospel album be out soon. But that's ready anyway. If you want a copy of that, you can get in touch with me directly. I'll send you an autographed copy. And those are only I'm asking $9.99 for the albums. You can go on YouTube, just download any one of the songs for 99 cents. So if you're going to send money, do it that way. Get something for your money. Don't just send me a donation. I'm not looking for that. What I'm looking for, what I need, okay, referring back to the black codes. I am looking for black code number 8. All right. Black code number 8. I will no longer allow the entertainment industry to control the narrative or image of the Nubian culture. All right. I need your support so that we can gain control of the narrative. We know we have problems. We know we have things we need to straighten out. But at the same time, we know that we're a beautiful, marvelous people that have a great story to tell, and that side of the story has yet to be told. And that's what I'm trying to do with this medium. I'm trying to tell our side of the beautiful side, as well as what we need to work on. and I can't do that without your help. So I need you to spread the word. Let people know we're out here every Saturday at 2 discussing interesting things that deal with us. We're moving this platform to YouTube, so we need people to go to YouTube, push the like button, push the subscribe button so that we can get up in the thousands. And when we have those numbers, we can go to the black businesses and ask them for sponsorship so that we can give you this information for free. We can give you this enlightenment for free. We can give you and set our culture back on course for free. All right? Let the people we support us. And I promise you I'll continue to support you. And I will not solicit anything from anyone that doesn't have our best interest at heart. Okay, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. And remember, don't get caught up in the lies that they tell, that you fail to prepare for the reality that is about to come. Peace out. I love you, and the mic was live.
Oh.